Hey folks, another adventure on the model building workshop, and we've been working on the Chasseurs Alpines of the French Mountain Troops in 1/35th scale. So this is where we left off with our figures. Alright, so we're starting to get something together here. So I'm going to talk about the uniforms and painting today, and I'm going to get into some books. So, since this is a kit that could be both World War I or World War II, I'm going to show you some options here. So, this is a really great book on uniforms of World War I. And this is from the Europa Militaria series. They put out a really good magazine. It's in French. This book isn't, but I mean the magazine tends to be in French. They don't do the English edition anymore. This is by Laurent Mourouz, and he's got a number of titles out there that are quite good. So in this case, I'll show you some other stuff in here too. So here's an example of the French mountain troops in World War I. And it wouldn't be difficult to do this kit that way because we get most of the equipment here in the kit. There's a few other things this soldier has that are not included in the kit, but just some minor differences. You know, he's a different rifle, but you know, this short carbine that comes in the kit's kind of more common for the mountain troops, really. But you'll see he's got the Alpine cane. He's got the same mess kit. He does have a helmet, which is not included here, but they frequently kept the beret on because more prestigious to wear the beret, kind of like the Green Berets, right, in the United States. So, yeah, so this is something that you could do with the kit, and I may opt for this option. I'll show you some other stuff in this book too while we're at it, because there's some really great stuff here. So, you know, this covers lots of different things. Yeah, so many different nations from World War I are in here. So, yeah, it's an early, French uniform, the infantry. So, this is a great resource. So, I'm going to get back to that page of the Alpine Troop because I'm working with that one. So World War II really isn't that much different. So, and I've got a series here from Histoire and Collections. This is a French language book. This is a set. So I do know a little bit of French. Je parle un peu français, mais très peu français, which means I don't speak it very well at all. But I can read some of this, and what I can't, Google Translate at least gives me an idea. But these books, for the most part, for me as a model builder and a history buff, basically it's all about the photos, because the photo references are just fantastic. So, and here's a French Alpine officer in the blue there in World War II. This is 1939, 1940. But this book goes into great detail on different types of French uniforms. And I thought this was fantastic because, I do like building World War II models and figures. And for me, I like a variety of different nations. I don't want to just build the Americans and the Germans. I kind of want to see what the other countries that were involved were doing, like Italy and Romania or Finland. There's a lot of countries who were involved in both World Wars actually, and so it's nice to get to see what other nations are doing. So, and information on the French has been harder to come by, unless you go for French language editions like that. Get this out of the way. And this is the second part of that set. This one is primarily weapons and equipment. you know. Again, French language. But it gives you a lot of information just by looking at it, the visuals alone. You know, information on the machine guns and so forth. So, nice set of books. But if you don't want to try to translate the French, there are some. Well, there's this one. Yeah, this is one. Just saying this is English, and it is. So there's this set. Or this book, I should say. This is also by Historian Collections, but this one is in English. But this is not the photographs like that. This is all done with artwork. So you get a breakdown this way of the French Army. You know, standard infantry. You know, the back you can see some of that too. And the Alpine troops are in here as well. And other troops that wore similar uniforms, such as this group. There we go, here's different Alpine forces here. I think there's some other things in this book as well. So this is really nice. This one's easier to come by. And then there's another set. This is volume 2, but this is the Men-at-Arms series from Osprey Militaria. So this is the French Army. This is volume 2 of that set. You know, this is mostly the Free French Army. From like 42 onward. It gives you some ideas here of some of what's in that. So, and another book I'm going to show you, because it does relate to this project, is that of the Romanian Army, because they had uniforms that weren't that different. So you could do this kit. You could do them as Romanians, and I'll show you that in just a second. So, see here, this officer here. It's not that different of a uniform. And let me see if I can find that now. So Romania actually had a very large army that was involved in World War II, mostly infantry. So you see this guy here, which I tended to model something after him. I'll show you that in just a second. But Romania was heavily involved in World War II on the Russian front. So that's another possibility. So, okay, so I've got a couple of figures here. So this is one I've been working on. The other one to the set here. So, still got some touch-ups to do on him. But you can see the gear on the back. And this could be either World War I or World War II, as you've seen in the pictures we just saw. This could be either one. So there's an example here in blue of the French. But like I said, you could do the Romanians. So here's a Romanian mountain trooper here. Or my interpretation of one, I should say. All right, it's just different paint. And then you can go one step further, like this one here. What I did here is I bought a set of different heads. Since these heads, are separate pieces, you could just get different heads to put on them if you want to. And I bought a set from Hornet Models of, they're wearing Dutch pattern helmets, which is what the Romanians had. They bought their helmets from Holland. So just swap the head, and now you've got some Romanian troops. One more here. Just for a change. So simple to do. Of course, you could use the beret too for the mountain troops. if you don't want to paint them blue. And you could also do it, as we're looking at all of those French uniforms, just as a different type of French military uniform. Here's one in green. So one kit, many options, all right? So lots of different ways you can do a model kit. And of course, you can use your own imagination and do whatever uniforms you want. That's part of the fun of the hobby. So if your kids have a different idea what they want to do, cool, why not? All right, so I'm just going to do a very quick demonstration of painting. So I'm going to grab one of these soldiers and I'm just going to start working on putting some blue on here. You could use just an overall blue, you know, like this guy here. But what I'm going to try to do, because I was noticing in these books here, let me get the right one. There tended to be a slight difference I noticed. So the jacket here seems to be like a grayish blue, and the pants are a really dark blue. So I'm going to try to duplicate that, and the beret looks like a dark blue as well. So I'm going to see if I can make this by using a couple of different colors here. So I have the Tamiya paint, the acrylic paint, number 50. This is field blue, which has a gray tint to it. And then I have Tamiya number 17. This is sea blue, so this is a very dark blue. So I am going to see if I can paint the pants on this figure first, and then try to get the jacket, and then let that dry and see where we go, right? I'm gonna use this brush here. Now I've already stirred the paint up. Very important that you mix the paint really well before you start doing anything. Otherwise it's not gonna work well at all. So I'm kind of using a small brush. All right. But you can use whatever you're comfortable with. I like to work small, but that's me. So I'm gonna get this dark blue. It's difficult. I'm holding onto the boots so I don't get my fingers covered in paint. So, getting there. Come on. This paint's going on really nice. I'm a big fan of the Tamiya paint anyway. Oops. Come on. So this is going to dry a nice dark flat blue. So, as you can see. All right, you know what, I'm going to stop with that one. I'll do the other color on this one because I don't want to get it mixed up with that paint. Because I think, well, let me try. I might be able to get that to work. This is just a demonstration anyway, right? So, why not? And you can use water to wash this stuff up. And they have their own thinner, and you can, isopropyl alcohol's good with this too. Right now I'm just going to use water, but I may clean the brush up a little better later with the thinner. All right, that's the sea blue, and let's get the field blue. Again, mix this up earlier. So field blue tends to be named for a German Air Force uniform color. And it tends to be used with German paratroopers in particular. But it has a lot of purposes, and it's going to work for the blue-gray here. Getting there. And with a good paint like this, you can cover in one shot. You may need to do some touch-ups afterwards, because I got to figure out to do the belts and the straps. I mean, not everybody has the patience for that, but I'm going to try. I've done it with the other ones. And if you really want to get at these, you could do these stripes on their sleeves here, because they got their rank stripes. They have collar patches you can try to do. The hard part for this one is trying to get the pistol and the hand painted. Like I said before, sometimes I would paint these things before assembly a little bit, so to make it a little easier, but for this demonstration I did not. All right, this might need some touch-up. I'm saying this is being a little bit on the runny side. This may need a second coat. And that's okay. Getting the back side of the arm. Can be a challenge when it's on the body like this. Sometimes you need to be a contortionist when you're painting things like this. Yeah, the back side of the arm here is going to be a lot more challenging. So yeah, when I go to paint that holster of the pistol, I'm probably going to hate myself for putting all of this together before I got it, because it's going to be hard to squeeze in there. I'll figure something out. But like I said, the point of this model was to demonstrate how to build and assemble and paint a figure, especially if you're working with your kids. Because again, this is a very good kit for kids. All right, that's a little runny. I'll have to do a second coat on that. Yeah, getting in there is a challenge. You can see me trying to squeeze the brush in there. That's okay. You get the idea. So I don't know if you can even make out the two shades. There's a slight difference. As it dries, the grayish color I think is going to be more pronounced. The dark underneath on the pants. And then it's going to have like a leather set of boots, and the bag is usually a tannish color. And we'll go from there. But that's the gist of that. That's how that works out. So hopefully you'll have fun working on your figure sets, building your own little armies with your kids, or not with your kids if you want to do it for yourself. Hey, whatever, just have fun with the hobby, have a good time, and we'll catch you next time on the Model Building Workshop. All right, we'll see you. Bye.